So we have our workforce that is properly trained, and we have our maintenance strategy that is defined at this point. We get to the work management process, which is really about executing the work. There are 6 steps in this process. First step is the work identification. Our maintenance strategy has defined routine inspection rounds. So you would have one of your technicians go out in the field and do visual inspections. At some point, he will probably find an issue, for example, a leak on the reservoir. What he's going to do is that he's going to create a work request or a work order within the CMMS. That work request will have to be prioritized in order to be put into the backlog for the planner. Step 2 is planning. In the planning section, the planner takes the work order and does a bunch of things. What is very important to do is to estimate the level of effort. How much time is this job going to take? Remember, we're talking about replacing a seal on a gearbox. So the planner will estimate 2 to 4 hours of work. He will estimate that a millwright will be needed for these 2 to 4 hours. Maybe an electrician might be needed to lock out and tag out the asset. Also, the planner will look at the bills of materials, order and reserve parts for that specific jobs. Also, the planner might request for specific tools like a lift, for example, that could be needed to execute the job. Once the planning step is done and the job is planned, we get to step 3, which is the scheduling part. Now, the scheduling part is often done by a scheduler or a maintenance supervisor. The scheduler will coordinate with production to assess what is the best time to execute that job. Remember, we're talking about seal replacement, so we need the asset to be shut down. So we'll look at the production calendar and look, all right, next Saturday, we have a production shutdown for 8 hours. That might be the best time to execute that job. Also, the scheduler will look at the workforce calendar and say, okay, we're going to use Bob that day. He's available, he's not on vacation, and he is the most suited to execute the work. Now, the Saturday comes and we get to step 4, which is the execution. Bob is going to take the work order, take the parts, go on the field, lock out, tag out the equipment, replace the seal, and production will start back. What Bob will do also is he will write feedback on the work order. He's going to say to the planner, for example, hey, I didn't have enough time to properly do that job. Or he might say that he didn't have the right parts, and all of this feedback will enable the planner to do a better job for the next seal replacement work that will be done. Now, the last step is the follow-up. Remember, we had originally a maintenance technician who went for a routine inspection round in the field. He found a leak, but in the end, the leak was fixed. So it highlights 2 things in this process. First, the maintenance strategy is efficient because we said a maintenance technician would go in the field and find leaks. The other important aspect is that we find a problem and we efficiently fixed it with our planning and scheduling process. We were able to find the right person to do the job, find the right parts, and repair before the full asset shut down because of a lack of lubricant. So that's the work management process. Now, of course, there are unexpected breakdowns. And when that happens, a catastrophic failure happens, of course, planning and scheduling is bypassed and we go direct to repair.